Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Long time. Let me start over, Chemda. I heard a buzz there.
All right.
Thank you. Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda. What?
A little muffled then.
I moved
How's
back
everybody
because I
doing,
got
folks?
nervous. I got
All right.
nervous. I
All
got
right.
nervous.
Hey,
All right.
we'll
Okay.
figure it out in 19 years.
The nerves are out. The nerves are out. Look, watch me do it. And I'm Chemda.
That's your name.
And I'm Chemda.
All right.
And
that's you.
I'm
Yeah?
Chemda.
Okay. We'll
Okay.
use one of those. You guys listening live can know which one. Let me make sure I'm hitting things. All right. Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Longtime listener here in Miami, says JoJo. My roommate in college used to listen to you and talked about you like you'd been friends forever. It took me to the end of the semester to finally give you a listen, and 10 years later, my roommate and I are still in touch with each other and with you. We get together once a month, and it seems half of our conversation is about the Keith and the Girl world. Our favorite used to be Micah Fox and Friends, but now we can't get enough of that chewing A, but in parentheses SS, chewing ass. That's what it seems, right? I mean, this guy. Oh, my goodness. We always light up a cigarette when we do our own recap of Newsy's life. On behalf of Melody and JoJo, thanks for the laughs over the years. Thank you for the introduction to so many topics that were a no-no in my home growing up. Please keep the VIP shows coming. Last week recap has been on fire. And what a treat Craig is to hear with Keith. More of everything. Proud Keith and the Girl VIP listener, JoJo.
Thank you,
Well,
JoJo.
thank you.
And Curtis is also chiming in. They're talking about Q&A in the chat as we're going live. And Curtis is saying, Q&A, always juicy. It is.
Yeah.
The first hour is our jaw on the ground.
Yes.
And then we get into old Keith and the Girl episodes.
Because Newsy's talking about all these jaws all over America falling to the ground when he arrives, it seems. So there's a lot of sexual action going on. And until somebody kills him, I'm all for it. Right?
Yep.
I'm excited. Speaking of VIP, by the way, you also you can hear every show we've ever done with Keith and the Girl VIP, not just these bonus shows we do. And of course, keithandthegirl.com/dad is the Dad Saga. And if you're not sure what we're talking about with VIP, you can hear all those shows. They're at /dad. Also there, it was down for a bit because the caption generator website was down. Anyway, there's a video there at the bottom of that page called Father Adolph Malley. It's 4 minutes long. J86, a listener on our forums, put it together, so I don't mind bragging. This is one of the funniest 4 minutes you will ever spend in your life.
I can't believe it's back. I can't believe it's back. And go there now, keithandthegirl.com/dad, because it has been taken down. So go watch that video.
It's very good. It's if you it was a popular thing some time ago, a clip from the movie Downfall, where Hitler's subordinates are telling him, hey, we're not gonna survive if we keep fighting in this war, and Hitler's in denial. And so people started putting captions over that about innocuous things. And in this case, Hitler is my dad, and people are trying to explain to him that it's really his son rating him, not the ex-wife that he's horny for.
Ew.
My ex-wife that my dad was horny for. And and Hitler's in such denial, and it's goddamn brilliant. It's literally genius. I don't know if J86 can put this on his resume somehow, what he does for a living, I don't know. But this video is so good, and you can see it at keithandthegirl.com/DAD.
Chris L is writing in, oh man, I rewatched the Hitler vid and was in tears.
I just saw it again today. It's so good. It's so good. You'll see. You'll see. This weekend, millions of Americans with roots in China, Vietnam, South Korea, and other Asian countries will ring in the Lunar New Year. Many who follow the Chinese zodiac calendar will usher in the Year of the Rabbit. And I'm reading here that it symbolizes hope and good fortune.
How is it always the Year of the Rabbit?
Also, what were the other years?
Yeah, I was going to
say. Not hope,
it.
Not good fortune. Well, this is the year, folks. If you started your life over, you're like, today's a fresh start. This is the year. Those other years, you didn't have a chance.
Those other years were hares. This is the rabbit.
Right. So we're all set. By the way, there's a new mental health number in the U.S., 988. You think 911. For mental health, it's 988.
Wait, so if I'm in an emergency brain situation, like
Yes.
I'm about to make a bad emotionally charged decision, I call 988 send?
Yes, exactly. It used to be 1-800-273-TALK, TALK.
But
And
nobody
now
knows how
that
to
it's
spell
changed,
talk.
of course, no one, they hear me say it, they think there's a W in it. The new 988 number already has more than 2 million calls, texts, and chats because they know what to call now.
Fuck, I really wanna call 988 just to see their response to things, but that's not right, and I'm not going to, but I wanna see.
Yeah, you should
Like
have to test them out when you're sober, right? When you're sane.
right, like, am I calling the right people? Can I chat with you before I'm in an emergency? Because I've heard the people who pick up my 911 calls, and they're not friendly, so I'm hoping they're not, just crossing over into this other side.
Mimi is saying last year was the year of the tiger. And that, of course, I
Ah.
have to assume symbolized bad luck and no hope. So this year, the rabbit is going to be exciting stuff. Oh, you know what? Speaking of mental health and all this, Chemda, I'd like to talk about the knee doctor visit that you teased us about.
That he
And
teased me about. This doctor has made it so dramatic. Can I tell you, it has been weeks since I first saw him, weeks since I've gotten the MRI. I've went twice to the MRI because one place didn't respect anybody's time. People were waiting for 2 hours. The other place let me right in. I was done in like 15 minutes. And since then, the doctor has not called me back about results. Then when I finally got him on the phone, he goes, "Yeah, your ACL is torn, your PCL is torn. We're definitely gonna need surgery for that. But I'm looking at this other stuff. You have arthritis, but I kinda wanna talk about it more in person." And I'm like, "Well, arthritis, everyone gets arthritis. Do people call people in for arthritis? I don't think so." So I was in the Dominican Republic at the time, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna be away for a little while. Let me get a telehealth. Like, if this was the pandemic, you'd be calling me." And they're like, "Okay, we'll try it." A week later, they tell me he can't do a telehealth for this one. He needs me in to look at the MRI scans.
well, that can't be good, right?
Yeah, well, the doctor's like, "There's some stuff that I really need to show you in person." And I made such an effort to not think about this because when you start thinking about it, you're like, well, he did say he might see a tumor when he looked at the x-ray, so maybe I have cancer in the knee. Okay, stop thinking about it. Then
Does
I
he
wait
say,
another.
first of all, I'm about to tell you the news. Write down a case number for me. 988. Okay, so here's the news.
Yeah, I was really nervous, and I tried not to think about it because it would come up, because I would make an appointment or I would do whatever, I would talk about it, and as soon as I start thinking about it, I go, "What could it be?" To the point where the last time I started thinking about it, I thought, "Are they gonna have to amputate my leg?" Because what you're thinking about what they can't
Right.
possibly tell you over the phone, face to face on
Well,
a
they also
virtual.
mentioned you have a tumor in your leg, right?
Exactly. So maybe it's untreatable, like, what could you possibly not tell me? Well, it turns out my knee is so not good. First of all, I had Xerxes come in with me. I was prepared. I talked in the shower to the people who were gonna be like, "I'm sorry, but we don't since COVID, we don't allow, um, anybody but
Partners.
the patient
Right.
to come back here." And I was ready with, "I'm sorry, and I respect your policy, but today I will have to insist." I was ready with
Good
it.
for you. Good for you.
Because what I'm picturing is anything you can't tell me over the phone that was gonna be on speaker so Xerxes can hear. As soon as you tell me the big diagnosis, I might hear "boo" for the
Of
rest of the
course.
time.
Yeah.
I need a witness. If you need me there, I need a witness. So he came with me and, no one bothered. I'm like, "Oh, he's coming in," and, I stood up all straight. I'm like, "He's coming in with me," and they're like, "Okay, room number 6." I'm like, "Why do you have 6 rooms with 1 doctor?" But okay, whatever, whatever. 6 rooms, 1 doctor. That's cool. I'll be waiting here, of course. Um, Turns out they can't do an ACL and a PCL surgery like I wanted from the fall that I had because the arthritis is so bad that my knees are just rubbing together. He doesn't understand why I am not in pain. He he said I have to
Do you
get the
say like I'm always in pain? You just get used to it, but it's
no,
still.
because I'm not in pain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I go, when you look at the X-rays, should I be in more pain than what I'm telling you? And he goes, yeah. Like, okay, is it bad that I'm not? He goes, "It just listen, when you get in so much pain that you can't tolerate it, that's when we go in, we remove your knee, put in some metal and some other shit, and then you get a new knee. Until then, we could maybe shoot you with cortisol. We could maybe numb the pain a little." And I'm like, but I'm only in pain occasionally. And he's like, so maybe don't get a new knee. And I go, I get to pick? And he's like, yeah, whenever you're ready for a new knee. What kind of
Every,
timing is that? Who's
tell your
ready for a
kids.
new knee?
Yeah, tell your kids to be a doctor. And really, the only test is they make you stay up for a week for no fucking reason at all. If you could do that, you're golden. Seems pretty easy.
That's so he goes, so I go, how do I know when I'm ready for a new knee? He goes, you will not be able to tolerate the pain anymore. Is that doctor speak?
Okay.
Is that official? And then I'm like, okay. And he goes, once you get this surgery, every 10, 15 years, you have to replace it because it's not a regular knee. So the later you start, the better. And I go, yeah. And also, they're probably going to learn new things about knees. And I swear to God, no exaggeration. He goes, nah.
Nah, nothing's new. Nothing's ever been new.
They're done learning about knee things. Don't expect new knee things by the time it hurts so bad that I need a new knee. So they can't do anything. I can never run again. I can never dance really again. I can't twist my knee or it'll fall out of its place.
But you can, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not being like this person. Rainbow Fright says, phew, good news, I guess. I guess.
I know. That's
I
what
guess.
we were looking at each other, me and Xerxes, like, I guess I didn't get bad news, but I kind of did. They can't fix it. I need a new one, but I'm not in pain and I'm supposed to be, so okay.
It's funny you can ride a bike. That doesn't hurt.
So those are the kinds of things I can do. When my knee stays in line like that, I can do it. But anything that will make the knee twist,
You can't
it'll
surprise it.
yeah, you can't
the knee.
surprise it. Exactly.
All right. All right. How you holding up? Do you need this? Do you need that number again?
No, I was gonna cry, and then I realized it's not anything different. He kept saying, listen, even if you get this surgery, you're not gonna have an 18-year-old knee. And I'm like, why at 47 does anyone think I'm gonna have an 18-year-old anything? What's it? And also, you should have felt my knees at 18. They hurt a lot more. Now that I'm off like 6-inch platforms, it doesn't hurt as bad. And maybe I'm comparing it to that. And my knees do hurt and I do need a new knee, but I'll never be able to tell because I allowed a tumor to grow the size of a football until it hurt so bad that I needed to take it out. So I don't know why anybody's going by me. You have the beautiful picture. Also, he doesn't perform that surgery. So I'm thinking maybe because he doesn't perform that surgery, he's not just saying shit. And maybe he wanted me to come in one more time because he's like, this is the last time I could make money off of you. You don't need the thing that I do.
I hear one more doctor tell me how great the body is and how amazing it all is. I swear to God. I swear to God.
Well, we were biking. We still can bike. And that's one of the most important things. And here's what happened. Our first bike ride back from the Dominican Republic was last week. And I can't believe I forgot to tell you guys this. Okay. We're riding in Central Park. And you share so much road with everybody. They close it off to cars, but sometimes emergency vehicles come through. But you're also riding next to runners and horses because the horse and buggy thing is there. So we're riding next to a horse, and I'm like, why does the horse just always do what it's supposed to do? And we ride past, and it's fine. We're about to get out of Central Park, and I suddenly see a horse. Xerxes is up ahead of me. I see a horse almost hit Xerxes. And they usually know to keep at least 6 feet distance. They're trained. It looks like the horse went out of control. I look past Xerxes and I'm also trying to move away because the horse is now coming at me. The horse conductor is on the ground. So I thought the horse just threw him off. And now the horse is going without the conductor guy. I look inside. There are people in there on the ride. They're somehow not flipping out. This
On the
person
ride? On the carriage?
on the carriage. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And the carriage is going on its own. And there's teenagers laughing. And I'm
Sure.
going, oh my God, oh my God. I even go, should we call 911? Because this person is so little running after the carriage. It was the kids were laughing.
Well, they're little. You've seen them on TV. The conductors are little.
They are. Well, those are usually the jockeys on the horse.
Yeah.
They try to be as little as possible. This is a person with a carriage, and now they're running and almost getting to the horse, and the horse keeps riding away, and the horse is just trotting along, and everyone coming past is like, holy shit, we can't believe we're seeing this. This is like, it's like the thing that you always think is going to happen and never does. And here it is. The horse is running away, just trot, trot. And it seems comical. The conductor guy is getting close, close, close. And then the horse keeps going close, 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 and then keeps going. And I yelled, do we call 911? I wasn't sure what to do. Now a horse is like, are we responsible if the horse keeps going and the teenagers are just busy laughing and I'm just busy going?
Yes, you're responsible. The judge from Seinfeld is going to lock you up for not calling. I'll tell you what's scary about this is that I'm reading right now that the guy did recover his horse and carriage, but the people were charged $20 a mile just the same. So it's amazing that they still allow those horses in the city.
Yeah.
I'm anti that for sure.
It is amazing. And I don't see the point. I know it sounds romantic, but it smells like horse shit.
Yes.
The whole ride, it smells like horse shit. And you know why? Because the horse is actually shitting while he's trotting you along. And then the bicyclists and the runners have to go around the shit because that's fresh shit. And there's not a person walking behind cleaning it up. It just gets cleaned up eventually, or the rain comes. I have no idea what happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got to see a runaway horse.
Congrats.
Holy shit.
Sounds like anxiety for you, but I would have been with the teenagers. I would have loved it.
There's a runaway horse.
Yeah.
And then I thought, you know what? The people in the carriage I didn't even hear an oh my God from them.
Because they're thinking lawsuit. They're adding up they're doing the calculator on their phone, adding up money, figuring out paying student loans. They're fine.
If we were millennials, we would have already had our phone out. But both Xerxes and I have said that we thought at the moment that it happened to take out the phones, and we're so not used to it. We're like, no, we want to experience this. But really, I started wondering when it was all done, is this like we're on candid camera or something like that? Because it was, if you added it would fit so well. I'm like, it almost seemed like the person, I don't know if it was a he or she, the person got close to the carriage and then just missed it again. And then it was comically like running. Is that really as fast as you can run? And all of that. And then I thought, well, somewhere is me going, oh my God, should we call 911 about a runaway horse?
Right.
And it could be fake. I have no idea.
I would have taken out my phone and been making up how it's affecting my life so I can show it into court. I'd turn the phone on and be like, I can't believe I'm getting PTSD immediately. This reminds me of a time when I was stomped by a horse when I was a kid. Oh my God, it keeps going. I would have had a time.
You would have done good. Yeah.
Yes. All right, let's get to the news. I'm reading that a teen discovered that her anonymous cyberbully who harassed her for over a year, speaking of catfishing, was really her mother.
Harassing her?
A teenager. I don't see what it is exactly, but she was being harassed and called a piece of shit and threatened by her mom. So the daughter then complained to the mom, and the mom said, well, let's let the school and the police know. But the mom kept harassing her. Then the FBI got involved and figured out where the messages were coming from. It was coming from the house.
Holy shit. Now I know we have a whole book coming out based on the fact that you basically harassed your dad for a year. But this is a teenage daughter who slept with your husband? What happened?
Right.
What happened?
Well, you know, teenagers. Kendra Licari, 42 years old, was charged with 2 counts of stalking a minor, 2 counts of using a computer to commit the crime, and another count of obstruction of justice.
Also, is there a crime for being a bad parent?
She targeted her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend since last December and attempted to cover up her act by filing a complaint with the school administration. Around that time, the mom also worked as a girls' basketball coach at the school, and at the end of the season, she was asked not to return, of course. She would also use slang to make it seem like the catfish was the same age as her daughter. It'd be funny, like, it's like, hey, how's everything going in school? I found the bully, Mom, and I told him to fuck off. And the mom's like, no, you didn't, pussy. FBI officials tracked down the IP address.
What is this woman like in life?
A real dream. You'd be surprised. Very out of character.
Wow. So is she consoling her daughter while this is happening? Does she not like the boyfriend? Is there a crime of you neglected and abused your child?
After she was confronted with cyber harassment, she broke down and made a full confession. She was released after her arraignment. She faces multiple charges, which included using a computer to commit the crime, stalking a minor, and obstruction of justice. I don't know. I know teenagers now, and it's just put your fucking dish in the sink.
Or I'll catfish you.
Kids go to school after demanding, money, and it's like, you just got caught sneaking out last night. It's like, Mom, I need money for school. Just give it to me. It's like, okay, here's your money, and you leave, and here's a bottle of wine in the computer. I told you to leave your phone at home. You didn't. You get fed up as a parent. She was told she has to stay away from the daughter until this court case actually happens, and she asked to see her daughter during the holidays, but the court refused. Let's see. She's told to stay away.
Is when when she used to ramp up the most harassment.
Right. The court even received letters from her daughter saying that she wanted to be back with her mother. The prosecutor said no because of the mental stress and manipulation being part of the case, and the case is still going on, so we don't want to impact testimony.
What do you even do with this? It's called that 988 number, because how
do you move on from that? What kind of brain
is this? Yeah. She's a teenager, so she's almost done being there, but wow.
How do you explain your daughter you learned your lesson and what you did wrong?
Right. But how do you explain that to yourself? What did you learn? Can we have a what did you learn follow up on a lot of people?
Rainbow is saying again, is it resentment of your child? Yeah, easily could be, right? Like she comes home, she's a cool cat in her school, and she's like, fuck you. How many people want to go back and redo their high school? I feel like I hear this a lot. And maybe that's what the mom was doing. I'm going to be the cool one now. I've had teachers that hung out with the cool kids and shat on the shitty kids so that they could be cool again.
I wonder how much the kid looks like the dad that she hates. That could. I always wonder about that. Like you got sick of your partner and your kid looks exactly like them. That's got to be a mind fuck.
But let's not forget what these teenagers are capable of. Here's a story about a 13-year-old girl led Nebraska state troopers on a 100-mile-per-hour chase with an 11-year-old boy riding shotgun in the SUV, where cops later found a gun and marijuana. These kids are bad news. You got to keep an eye on them, and you got to put them in their place. The incident was 9:35 on a Monday. The troopers spotted a Pathfinder traveling on Interstate 80 at 35 miles per hour. Again, this is in Nebraska. The trooper tried to pull the SUV over. It sped away, and they crashed into it. They call it a technical vehicle maneuver intervention. So very good.
Shit.
Very good. They crashed into it. That's what they did. Tactical. And then I'm seeing, I'm reading this, catching up on the story about a 6-year-old in Virginia that intentionally shot and gravely wounded a teacher. The 6-year-old was mad at the teacher. There's some kind of recess with all different grades, and he pulled out a gun, shot the teacher in the stomach in front of the other kids.
Wait, what?
Yeah. And I guarantee, because how not, by the way, I look on social media, it's always these alpha males. They even put alpha male in their name and then parentheses alpha male. And they're like, and trying to be inflammatory. Watch this if you don't believe in guns. And it's them with their little kid doing like fast gun maneuvers, clear it, cock it, drop the old mag, put the mag in, check it, shoot it, fire, do it again. Like you're just trying to get people, you're just trying to get hate letters for attention. But, this isn't Young Guns, and you got to protect your farm. You're just being an asshole. And of course, the kid's going to, now that's habit, especially at a young age. The kid's going to find your gun because you're obviously irresponsible because this is ridiculous. You're not only normalizing it, you're teaching it.
How does a 6-year-old, they know where the gun is at home. They are the last person to look in their bag before they leave. Then they're packing their own bag.
Oh, he knew. The kid knew. The kid shot it. Yeah.
So no one is alarmed to a gun being missing at all. You kind of look around, you're going like, oh, we only have 2 out of the 3 guns. You know what I mean? Like it means that you didn't know that a gun was missing that whole time. Who knows if he had it in his bag that one day or he's been carrying it around. You can't keep track of your gun.
The teacher was shot in the stomach, fell to her knees. We don't know why the kid did it necessarily. Like, who likes their teachers?
Well, because a 6-year-old doesn't know that you shoot a teacher like that.
It's the end,
yeah, it's the end.
Scary.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't have to deal with this, thank God. But an 11th grader at one of New York City's top non-specialized public schools claimed she was sexually assaulted in a bathroom by a classmate who videotaped the incident and sent the recording around to other students. You got to leave the state, right? The teen girl, identified as Jane Doe, was grilled about the video by the assistant principal without her parents, without a school counselor, without police being notified. Yeah, you can't be doing that.
Why would you even want to?
Right. Without regard to the status of Doe as an underage victim of sexual assault or her apparent emotional and psychological trauma, they forced her to write a statement describing her sexual assault.
Why not call the cops right away? Isn't that above what you do? That's not what you do. You don't solve crime.
A male student at the West 17th Street School in Chelsea followed her into the first floor girls' bathroom where he sexually assaulted her. There was no security guard or bathroom monitor, and the teen boy announced himself standing between her and the bathroom exit.
So he taped his own crime.
And the teen boy announced himself, standing between her and the bathroom exit.
So he taped his crime and then distributed it.
Yes.
So he didn't think he did anything
it'll be cool
wrong?
Because Instagram and everything. I think he knows it was wrong. I mean, I'm making this up. I assume he knows it's wrong, but kids will keep a secret. He doesn't know kids don't keep secrets. Look at this. Look, I'm cool.
Oh, I see. Oh my goodness. Right.
The alleged attacker demanded that the girl give him oral sex, which she told him she didn't want to do. Then forced into a bathroom stall, pushed her onto the ground, held the back of her head, forced her into the sex act without her consent. The woman discovered that he recorded the incident on his cell phone and sent it to other students. Of course, it gets back to her. The assistant principal found out because of the video, pulled her out of class and questioned her about it. The girl and her father, identified in court papers, claimed the school was negligent in failing to protect her, especially since her dad had reported previously that his daughter was a victim of bullying and had been physically assaulted by another student in October 2019. Oh, these teachers can give a shit. By the way, get out. They for their numbers, they got to keep every kid. There's trouble. It wasn't related to sex, but I told you when I was in school, I was bullied, and that teacher would see a kid punching me and be like, "Knock it off, you two." Okay, I think I'm about done. Hey, bad boy, you about done? We're about done right now, but outside, can we do it again? Okay, we're about done here in your jurisdiction. I mean, did you see that documentary Bully? Bully? I think if you have kids, you should have to see it by law. But anyway, that principal is like, these kids, really? Somebody's getting beat the fuck up on a bus? I was on that bus. They were cool as punch. And I'm like, you agreed to be in this documentary? It's the worst. The girl's dad, had even requested that she be transferred from the prior to the incident, but the assistant principal didn't approve the move. The boy was known as a problem student, had a reputation for engaging in dangerous behavior, whatever that means. The dad and daughter are suing the city and the Department of Education. Absolutely. Absolutely.
How could you not? But also, that's what we're doing, right? We're suing schools, and then schools have to be funded by the public, and then you don't want to take a student out, but he's the one causing all the issues and actually committing crimes.
Right.
But you don't want your school to have the bad kid, so you just try to keep it moving.
It's easy for me to say. Again, I don't have kids. Kyle's kids are already, half grown up, but I don't know that I would send a kid to school. I think I'd try to find a community and we homeschool. I
Really?
I really, really do. I don't know, man. It's got to be fucking scary for you parents every single day. Now, you used to be like, hey, you're making dinner and you're saying it over your shoulder. How was your day? Now you're checking for bullet holes when they get home, like it's ticks from the park. Then never mind, you got to deal with the fucking adults going on. I hate to report this, Chemda, but I got to tell you, in case you're around, you're at a party or something, you say how great Rick and Morty is.
No, I don't want this one.
The Rick and Morty co-creator, Justin Roiland. Oh, boy. He's DMing 16 years olds with manipulation and sex. Creator Justin Roiland's leaked DMs to a minor are going viral. There's other people, too. Following the news of him facing domestic assault charges. So he faced domestic assault charges. Apparently smacked was beating up his ex-girlfriend. For some reason they were in a place together. And when this made the news, now people are coming out going, you know what? You should also know this about this guy. Other victims have come out saying that Roiland manipulated them and sharing old text messages as proof. Previous fans have accused him of predatory behavior, which involves incidents from them when they were just teens. Roiland abused his status to approach minors on social media. Here's one person. On September 2015, Justin Roiland followed me on Twitter. I was 16. Of course, I was excited because I loved Rick and Morty at the time. So what are you doing reaching? Right there, guilty. Right there, fucking guilty. Hey, you a fan? DM a 16-year-old?
I didn't get a DM from them.
You didn't get a DM? That's weird. You used to talk about them all the time. Yeah.
I did.
Of course, I was so excited because I loved Rick and Morty at the time. So I messaged him and we started talking every now and then. Some of it very casual. Some parts very fucking weird.
No, what they actually write?
But some parts were 100% weird. Huh. Here's one message from Roiland to a kid. Are you going to get Morty tattooed on your boob, licking your nipple? If not, then who?
Wait, who wrote what?
The creator of Rick and Morty said, you should get Morty tattooed on your boob, licking your nipple. If you're not going to do it, who's going to do it?
Oh my God. Why? It's so gross. Is that how you dip a toe in? Is that what that is?
Right. Oh, now we can talk about you opened up Tit Talk. Good.
No, we were just talking about tattoos, bro.
He first messaged me on Twitter. This person says in January, I was 16 years old. He had been watching my account for a while. He even admitted to that. He had his friend, Christy, who I assume worked as a predatory scout for him, finding young girls who looked a certain way and trying to set up threesomes for herself and Justin.
These are fully grown adults, am I right? They've had time to do not just multiple episodes, multiple seasons of a hit show. Can we call it? It's a hit show, right?
It's a hit show.
It's not just me. It's incredible. Yeah. It's so good. And now you think of all the weird sex stuff that they put in their scripts that I thought was so good because put random weird shit, everything's weird, nothing matters,
right.
You're doing that whole thing, we don't have to think linearly or right. Anything could be possible. You have a gun that changes things into other things.
On this planet, 14-year-olds are adults.
Right. There's a planet where everyone is the same person. So they're
Mm.
talking to his kids while they're fucking him, but it's a different person. You know what I mean?
Ah,
Like things like that. You just kind of now go, no,
of course, that's where your brain goes.
it was supposed to be deep. It was just supposed to be deep, not
It's like that thing, you can't make this
ugh,
stuff up. Well, he can, but how can he? Because he's a
no.
freak. After briefly telling me about Christy, this girl continued, and how he found my account through her, he sends a separate message that reads, quote, "By the way, not sure if I ever told you this, but I think you're insanely hot." She wrote back, "LMFAO, thanks. I'm not even 18. Let me tell you guys something. When somebody says laughing my ass, when you hit on them and they say LOL, picture they said, "I hear you, friend."
hmm Picture they said, I am not adult enough for this conversation.
Right.
That's what they're saying.
Different people are sharing the MO that he was a mentor who says, "I would teach you about the entertainment and animation industry." This one person says, "It took me years to realize it was always empty promises, and an attempt to coerce me into a sexual relationship."
Why aren't they trying to teach me about animation?
Chemda would love to know about animation.
I want to know about animators.
Roiland sent one minor a text saying he will finally be in town and they should meet up in person, trying to pressure her. Let's see. She met up with him in person. Roiland tried to pressure her to drink at a party and drink more and more, and also asked her to kiss another woman, but she left not too long after.
You feel like such an adult. You're
Yeah.
16. He picked you. Man.
Roiland, let's see. Justin Roiland, one person says, has a track record of using social media to hit up and exploit vulnerable people and minors. And I believe this is an open secret in the industry. He used my sexual trauma and my love for Rick and Morty to groom me, and I am just one of so many. I'm glad this is public. And then you kind of like Cosby. You go back and you check out these things, kind of like Woody Allen. You go back and you check, Woody Allen stand up, like, my wife is suing me, I should sue her for what he say, like fucking an immovable object, I don't know, some kind of car pun. But I do remember Cosby's. He was telling the beauty of Spanish Fly in his stand up. Well, they found a podcast where Justin Roiland is talking about 14-year-olds that look 18. A fucking 14-year-old girl that looks like she's 18 with like big titties. Like, of course I'm attracted to that. That's why this whole Chris Hansen thing, fuck you, man. End quote.
Oh my God.
That's a take to fuck Chris Hansen in his Catch a Predator show. But by the way, in Catch a Predator, they didn't even see pictures. They didn't see pictures. They never knew what this girl looked like.
That's another thing.
That's important.
In one of the texts, in maybe the only text that you read, she goes, LOL, I'm not 18. When the child is telling you that they're a child, it's
right. Haley is rating in. Haley Ann, Jessica, and Rick and Morty. Do you know who Jessica is? Is that a creepy
the
thing?
love of the little boy's life. And she's like really nice and popular, and he's always in love with her, and so a lot of his timeline is about maybe getting her or being her girlfriend, being her boyfriend. It's not usually. No, it's always bad. It's always bad, but it's supposed to be that deep bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's okay, so they're playing with timelines, and he finds out, you put this thing on and you can see when you die. So in one of the timelines, he's dying old with Jessica, and she's old too. So he keeps the goggles on, and now if he makes this left turn, he sees a different ending without Jessica, so he keeps to the right. And so his whole thing is about keeping that timeline of them dying together. That's the kind of timeline they do with him. He just wants to be with her.
From the podcast, the Grandma's Virginity podcast. That's where he said that other quote. Another quote is, 100 years ago, it was like 13-year-old girls. If they were built like a woman, they're going to get married and have kids. And now we're going to be all precious about it?
What? 100 years ago? Go live like it's 100 years ago, and then you could fuck 13-year-olds, okay? All right? I'm going to take your iPhone, though.
Right. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
You know what? That's what 13-year-old girls were doing. You know what 14-year-old boys were doing? providing for their family. Why are we only talking about the jobs of 13-year-old girls? Also, 100 years ago, are you sure that timeline is right? And B, don't go by 100 years ago. Don't even go by 10 years ago.
Right. What will the apology be? Will it be like Andrew Callahan's I saw was? Hey, some things are true, some things are not true. I respect everybody saying anything, no matter what it is, truth or not truth, because that's their truth. But just so you know, it wasn't true. Anyway, I'll look into myself. I think it's an alcohol problem.
Yeah, I'm going to go take a break in some spa for 2 months.
Right. I'm going to work on myself. What does that mean? I won't come back with anything to tell. I'll just wait until you forget about it, because that's how you guys are. You're just making it a big deal now. By the way, speaking of drinking, I see that Canada put out a study people are upset about, saying that alcohol is bad for you and that there's no such thing as safe drinking. Well, people are upset. They didn't know. They're like, come on, some poison's good for you, right? A little poison. You're telling me no poison is good for me. Bullshit. Fuck this. Fake news.
Wait. Not even some wine on Valentine's Day?
Right. There's no such thing as safe drinking, says a study, urging people to curb their alcohol consumption as much as possible. That's all they're saying. They're not saying they're going to come and take your stove. They're just saying, just so you know, maroons, a shot is not a vegetable.
But what if it's vodka?
Your whole face and body goes, yee! It's probably bad for you. It's probably bad for you. The eyebrow-raising edict, says the paper. The Canadian Centre for Substance Use and Addiction encourages no drinking whatsoever, while allowing that 1 or 2 standard-sized drinks a week is the maximum for those hoping to avoid side effects such as cancer and heart disease. Yeah, drink what you want. Just don't play dumb. You know what's doing. Doesn't matter your age, sex, gender, ethnicity, tolerance for alcohol, or lifestyle. This is echoing a report already done by the World Health Organization.
But it's made of grapes.
Right. Yeah. By the way, they stomp on those grapes with their feet. That's how you got something's up there. It's not how you make a salad.
It's organic.
This isn't about prohibition. We want to simply present the evidence to the Canadian public so they can reflect on their drinking and make informed decisions. It's fundamentally based on the right to know.
The sugar alone in some of alcoholic beverages is also like, you mean this amount of sugar and this amount of poison doesn't cancel each other out? Hold up.
Drinkers who enjoy 3 to 6 drinks per week risk developing several types of cancer, including breast and colon. People who have more than seven drinks a week see significantly increased risks of heart disease and stroke. The research there, and then here's let's see, who's this guy? This is funny. This is Dan Malik, a professor of health studies at Ontario's Brock University, says the research they're using also ignores the enjoyment and pleasure and stress relief and collegiality associated with alcohol. This is like adding, you robbed me. Well, he robbed me and he scared me. That should be a crime. And he ruined my day. That should be a crime also. He's saying the same word for all of them. You're keeping out the fact that it's for enjoyment, pleasure, stress relief, and collegiality. That is being able to work with your colleagues. What? My martini lunches is good for collegiality. Believe me.
It is true. The same could be said about cigarettes, because you take a break, you move away from your desk. Also, you meet other smokers. Now you have a little community. You meet people because they ask you for cigarettes. And also smoking is that deep inhale and exhale without the smoke part is very healthy.
So this guy, Dan Malik, he's got to be an alcoholic, right? He says the guidance is, quote, irresponsible. It's irresponsible to tell people, if you can, and we know life's tough, but if you can, don't drink. That's irresponsible because people won't be as happy.
Curtis says he met his wife smoking, so it's irresponsible of me to say smoking is unhealthy.
We aren't just machines with inputs and output of chemicals or nutrition. We actually exist in a social space, and that has a significant impact in our health.
I agree with this. I agree that social drinking could be lovely. But yes, what if we made iced tea the thing that we cling to? Then we start talking about sugar. I get it. What if we always rejoice with water? Why can't we clink glasses with water?
Right. Yeah. I've used that. Somebody asked me, more than one person, what I mentioned this on VIP. What app do I use? I'm looking at it. I watch an app that tells you like how alcohol affects your brain and changes the pathways in it. It's very interesting to me. It's an app called Reframe, and it was like it's like $100 a year. But then if you wait to really commit, they go, how about half off? So perfect. So you cancel your old one, but then you got to repeat a couple days of lessons. But then it works, and I like it. What this guy Dan reminds me of is when you were a kid in like gaming magazines. It really said, tell your parents about how Atari helps hand-eye coordination, how it helps focusing on a project. I'm like, I'm a kid and I know this is bullshit. I think my parents are gonna know this is bullshit. Come on. Speaking of guns, Alec Baldwin. Remember he shot somebody on the set of Rust. He didn't know there was a bullet in the gun. He says he didn't fire the gun. Interesting. But the gun did shoot a live bullet into the cinematographer that he was pointing at to be, for movie dramatic effect. He has been charged. Santa Fe prosecutors charged him and the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, each with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter in the death of the cinematographer, Helena Hutchins. A jury will determine under which definition they are guilty.
Oh my God, because they're guilty because it did happen, right? Yeah. What happens when you're what happens when someone gives you a gun and you think it's a prop? You can go to jail for that.
Well, it's his production. It's his production, and he had the gun, and he's the one who shot it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how he didn't shoot it. He's saying he didn't shoot it. Now, supposedly guns go off if they're bombed, or maybe you move the safety. But according to TV, guns are going off all the time. I was in the Army. I fired everything: pistols, rifles, rocket launchers. I've never seen a gun go off. I've never seen it. A weapon go off without the trigger being pulled. Sure, it can happen, I guess. I've never seen it.
And there wasn't one camera that was on?
There probably is, right? They probably, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they can, yeah, you would think you'd be able to see or not. I don't know. I don't know that.
Well, once the actor is on set, didn't we just talk about how they're stand-ins so that by the time the real actor is on set, you're ready to go?
Right.
So did somebody hand him a gun and he said he didn't fire it?
Involuntary manslaughter carries up to 18 months in jail. Involuntary manslaughter with a firearm, although it seems this one isn't going to take, carries a mandatory 5 years in prison. But that's like if you're on the street, you have a gun, you're going to rob somebody, it accidentally goes off. That's involuntary manslaughter with a gun. Like this obviously nobody was trying to do anything nefarious. But
it's going to trial, right?
It's going to trial though. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that
hold on 1 second? I'm sorry. Curtis is saying yes, they released the video. Well, Curtis, don't be shy. That needs a second sentence, doesn't it? Did he pull the trigger, Curtis?
Yeah. So, oh my God. Hold on. So Chris L is saying his legal argument is he was just acting like he was firing it. His character shot the gun.
Oh, okay. They got to arrest the character. This is like Puff Diddy changing his name anytime he got in trouble.
Oh my God. Wait, okay. So do you guys think that either of these people are going to get any time? Because I feel like everybody knows who what's his face is. What's his name again?
Alec Baldwin.
Except for
everybody knows him. Who?
Well,
that's Chemda. That's Chemda. That's okay. Alec Baldwin. Everybody knows him.
They should have asked me to be on the jury. Am I right?
Right.
But everyone knows Alec Baldwin, right? They don't know that other person because she's the prop person, right? But I don't think anyone could convict Alec Baldwin. I don't think a jury
will do it.
Right. So, and then they can't convict the prop person because I don't know. I feel like people's brains can't handle that they're the ones who put these people away, who make movies that they like.
I don't think it's good that Alec Baldwin did all those interviews right away. He wanted the public to
Mm.
like him, and he could have said something stupid that's going to be used against him. We'll see. Just you're the news now because it just happened. Breathe for a minute. So we'll see if that haunts him somehow. The Santa Fe prosecutor says an actor doesn't get a free pass. You pulled the trigger. You pulled the trigger. He denied it. He vowed to fight the charges, calling them a terrible miscarriage of justice. So now he'll have a chance to fight him. Good.
I forgot. He's the one that said "little pig" to his daughter.
Yes, but these kids could be too much. She's being an ungrateful little pig. He wasn't calling I'm not defending it necessarily, but he's not calling the daughter a fatso. He's just saying you're being ungrateful. You're supposed to meet me here at this time. You're playing games against me with your mother. You're being an ungrateful little pig. He didn't mean pig like you're an animal.
I think he meant pig like you're an animal, but
well, that's why they should bring up that tape in court. Seems to really rile people up.
But here's the thing: who died? No one that they really know, right? Like that's what would be the reason for both of them to get together and shoot that person? It's just negligence, right?
He should bring up his wife and call her a weapons expert. She can be anything. She plays anything. She's Spanish. She's not. She's a gun expert.
Oh my God. How do you even?
Let's see. The first judicial district attorney in New Mexico says, hey, you played fast and loose on this set. We know what was going on. You had dummy rounds. You had live rounds. People are playing target practice when you're not shooting. Of course, there's going to be a mess and you have to pay for that.
Well, if that was going on, I guess they thought they were being fun. Like we're the fun set with guns.
Chris is being hilaria. Como se dice gun? There was such a lack of safety and safety standards on that set, said the same person. There were live rounds on the set. They were mixed in with dummy rounds. Nobody was checking these, or at least they weren't checking them consistently. They somehow got loaded.
In what world? In what world would there be real guns and not real guns? Why?
Real bullets and not real bullets. You wouldn't. You would never do that. You wouldn't do that. Now, I'm not acting like I know what goes on in a set, because it is funny whenever the news came out and they're like, because one article printed it, everybody's like, we all know that even an actor checks the gun first. Like, we all know that. Yeah, and everybody knew what codify means, apparently. But to me, no, I don't know. You hand me a gun, of course. Fine.
No.
Let's
what?
play.
How do I know that this isn't real? I shoot it. What do you mean I test it? What else do I test? The wig?
What do I do?
Do I test the
shoot
makeup?
the gun and go, looks good.
Right. What's the testing for a weapon on set?
They somehow got loaded into a gun, handed off to Alec Baldwin. He didn't check it. He didn't do what he was supposed to do to make sure he was safe or make sure anyone else was safe. He pointed the gun at Helena, and he pulled the trigger.
Now, why was he pointing at that person? That I want to know.
I guess so you see the gun like pointed at you as a viewer. She was behind a camera.
I see. So just because she was a point of reference. For some reason, a human being was a point of reference.
Yes.
It doesn't seem smart.
Right. Just because it's an accident doesn't mean it's not criminal. They didn't mean to do it. They didn't have the intent to kill, but it happened anyway, and it happened because of more than mere negligence. We've talked to many actors, A-list and otherwise. That's interesting. That have said they always check their guns, or they have
A-list and otherwise. You have to say that. Right. We checked with the good ones and the
even the bad ones knew that you always check the guns. I doubt it. Or they have someone checked in front of them. What are you going to do? You see someone, did you check it in front of me?
Right.
You have to check it yourself, or it doesn't count. How would I know you're checking it in front of me?
I want to know from behind the scenes people, not actors. What is the protocol? How would I, as an actor, check a gun? What if I've never shot a real gun before? I don't know what to check for. Should I go to gun safety something before I get on set here? Because I don't know and I don't speak gun safety.
Right.
How would I know? I don't know how to check chambers and holdings and
who even know? Right. They don't know what to check for. They don't know if there's supposedly a bullet in the chamber.
Where's the chamber? How do I look in the chamber? Which button do I push that unlocks the thing from the bottom and removes bullets? Then is there one still in the round thingy? I don't know.
Actors need a military background nowadays.
You got to do that real style acting. Live it.
to understand what's happening. The marathon is coming up, Chemda, February the 4th to the 5th, 24 hours.
Very good, Keith.
Thank you very much. I was looking at my wall calendar, not to brag. 24 hours, over 50 of your favorite comedians. Dana Gould just said hi today. He's going to be part of it. The whole thing is very, very exciting. You know, it'd take an hour to go through the list of who we have so far, but it's very, very exciting. Also, just to tease you and please you, next Wednesday will be the KATG Awards, where we replay the moments that you said were your favorite of 2022. Joining us for discussion is the no holds barred Hollywood himself, Craig Klein. Very excited.
I like it because I'm pretty sure you guys are on the list for some kind of fight you had or more than one fight. So
sure, probably
we can work it out live.
Right. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so that's what's going on. We'll see you on Monday just the same. Of course, we hope you have a great weekend. Make sure you mark your calendars, February 4th and the 5th. And there's so much stuff at keithandthegirl.com/VIP. It keeps the show going, and I think you'll be very pleased. And of course, if you haven't checked out the video, you're going to have the time of your life. keithandthegirl.com/dad. Scroll to the bottom. Father Adolph Malley. That's it.
I like that one of our shows ends with the words Father Adolph Malley.
right.
KeithandTheGirl.com.
Thank you,
for listening
everybody.
Live, you guys. If you're not already subscribed, if you haven't already clicked the like button and all the different buttons you see there, that'd be great. Thank you, Mary Kate Olsen. Wow, Mary Kate, that's cool.
Hey, Mary Kate, good for you. You were the one I liked. There, I said it. I don't want to groom. Oh, you're an adult. Okay.
Oh,
Well, so sad too. And I know Rick and Morty's great. I just didn't get to it. And now I'm like,
glad.
oh, now I'm like, oh.
No, I don't know.
I mean, I'll see it, but I'll see everything a little different now. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And we started rewatching it, and now you're right. Everything will just be a little like, where'd you get that idea from? I thought you were deep. You're just being gross.
Yeah. He could take his brain there. Well, good for him. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Okay, bye.